Welcome back to the channel, guys. And in today's video, Dad and I fly halfway across the country to drive back another questionable Land Rover. It's this one, right here. This is the questionable one. It's 6 a.m. Saturday. We're gonna head out. Got a couple hour drive to the airport, then a flight into Orlando. We'll be in Orlando at 2 p.m. Then we gotta pick up a rental car, drive a couple hours, pick up the car, drop off the rental car, drive back home. Hopefully all this will be done by Sunday night. A few thousand miles of travel. 15-year-old Land Rover, 140,000 miles. What could go wrong? All right, so trip is going well already. As you see, we just got to the Peoria airport. A little under 3-hour drive. Parked, went in, went to the gate to go through. Forgot my wallet in the car. So, try number 2. This might go a little better now. I guess I should have said Alamo. That was got its own spot. See, you're getting an Alamo. Right, an Alamo car, anyways. The Alamo Plaza. See, I wanted Enterprise, so I didn't have to walk as far. Yeah. All right, a little warmer here. Probably about a 50-degree difference. We flew in, made it into Orlando, Sanford. Just hit up Enterprise. We just hit up Enterprise and got our little Hyundai Accent. That'll be our ride for the next 2 hours to get down to Vero Beach. Then I guess my ride back for 2 hours when we drop that back off. Somehow Dad gets the Land Rover. Not fair. Probably should have just rented a Gladiator. You can't do that in Iowa. Florida, you're good. Florida does not disappoint already. We got the car crusher. All right, here we are at Toyota of Vero Beach. This is the moment of truth. We're going to try and find our little Land Rover. Hopefully this one's a little nicer than the one we just picked up a couple weeks ago.
What the hell's on this phone? I got plenty of inventory.
We got a lot of friggin'
Salesmen. This is the old boy, the way it used to be.
Yeah.
In the car business, you know.
All right, so they don't even have it at this lot. It's at a lot a quarter mile north. I remember probably 15 years ago, I went and looked at a car lot. This was in Chicago. And they said, it's at our other lot. That did not turn out well. That was a Nissan 240 and half of it was missing and it was stuck in the weeds. So here's to hoping that this is a little better. So we'll catch you a quarter mile north. Well, look what we found. Well, let's see if it starts. Still got some amount of power. That's a good sign. We're in a mosquito haven. Got an extra mask there too. But here we are. This is our 2006 Land Rover LR3. Look at that. Well, we got low coolant level. Put no check engine light, and it started. So there it is. So we're halfway through our trip, distance-wise, not time. But we got a Land Rover. We got a Land Rover that started. And now we have a Land Rover that has to make it, I think, 1,400 miles back. Something like that, maybe more. Let's see if it airs up. All right, so we are now aired up. A little noisy here. We're by kind of a highway, Highway 1. Just went up to the gas station. It made it back. So 2 miles in. It's got a couple lights on. We'll talk about those in a minute. Gonna be interesting. But why did we go to Florida for this guy? Remember the last Land Rover? This one is considerably cleaner. Look at those frame rails. Way cleaner. No rusty frame. A little bit newer, but now this one had the Voyager rack, which is a neat little feature with the ladder and everything. A nice steel bumper, winch, oversized tires, just an all-around cool looking Land Rover. All right, so we're back on the road. We are about 15 miles into the trip on the way home. I got Dad behind me in the Kia. We're headed back to Orlando, Sanford to drop that Kia off. Or it's a Hyundai. Is there a difference? I got Dad back there in the Hyundai Accent. We're heading back to Orlando, Sanford, dropping off the rental car. We use that to run from the airport down to Toyota Vero Beach, and now we got to get it back up there because we are cheap and didn't want to pay for a one-way rental. So instead we paid $34 for that. So let's talk about the Land Rover LR3. This is a 2006 LR3 with the V8 SE Southern car. We wanted a Southern one. And then this one's got some neat little options. It's got the winch up front, the plate bumper with the winch mount. Awesome. In case we get stuck, we'll pull ourselves out. It's got the Voyager off-road rack on top with the ladder. We can throw things on there, or the next owner could throw some things on there. All your wants and needs, your baggage, everything, if you can't fit it in the back of the spacious LR3. So how's this thing doing? This thing has mud terrain, all-terrain tire on it, oversized. Speedometer's off a little bit, so we'll have to watch out on that. But so far, so good. It runs decent. When we started it, no chain rattle or anything, and it's been sitting for a couple weeks, so that's good. And I guess it's good that it started after sitting for a couple weeks. How can you beat that? But what are our issues right now that we will see throughout the trip? So far, once you start rolling, I'll show the lights up here. It's got the suspension rollover light, traction control light, and a yellow brake light. 3 amigos in the old school Land Rover disco era. Then it also has put that into a suspension fault mode, which brings us to another little issue. So suspension fault mode defaults it down to the normal height. Normal height, you would think that's normal, that's good. Well, with the oversized tires that this thing has, that creates a little rummage So we have some clearance issues. And we just can't take left-hand corners. So if you look at the map from Florida to Iowa, I think there's probably some left-hand corners. So, what are we gonna do there? Well, I'm just kidding on that. We can take left-hand corners. It just rubs a little bit if you haul it into the corner. So we just gotta be a little more careful. It'd be nice if we could stick it up into off-road mode, but whatever. It is what it is. We'll make it home. Another note, transmission fault warning came up. That seems fine. I wonder if that's related to all the other lights and it might just be putting it into a dummy safe mode. Could be. The only thing I noticed, and part of that is the big tires that is doing this, it's got a real delayed shift. I thought we were going to be stuck in like 4th gear the entire way and cruising at like 4+ thousand RPMs, but that is not the case. It did end up shifting into the final gear, and we are going to cruise at about 3,000 RPMs. So that brings us to the next thing. We're going to stop for gas a lot. We got 1,400 miles. We just filled it up. The range is showing 179 miles for a full tank. And on the computer, we are at 11.7 on average MPGs. So that's like 8 stops for fuel. British Petroleum, Exxon, they're gonna love us. We're stimulating the economy with this thing. So, but that's it. Dropping the Hyundai off. And hopefully this is boring. I'm hoping for a boring trip, but the chances might turn interesting. That should, well, once it takes it off. Or not.
All the lights are off now except that one.
Guess we want to go straight across once first. Is that what we do? So here we are, stopped in Tifton, Georgia, at a Love's. Quite the interesting gas station. We've got a Trump bus. And then you got to see these two fellas. Look at those fancy guys. Now those are quite the trucks. Wow.
Got the law out here.
Yeah.
There won't be no speed traps.
That's the Google speed trap. But we're on this side.
Yeah, no shit. Look how far back, even with the light traffic tonight.
Yeah. So here we are, coming at you from the roof of the Land Rover. My superstitious self held off on talking about the issues we had starting off with this thing because I wanted to get close enough to where I felt comfortable with calling Ted to trailer us home. And right now we got our safety net over there. We're back in the Peoria airport picking up the Volvo that we drove down here. So we're only a couple hours from home, 2 or 3 hours from home. And we made it 1,200 miles so far. But 60 miles into this trip, the right front wheel bearing started to scream. And that brings me a little PTSD, and I'll tell you about that story in a minute. But so I just decided not to talk about it. I didn't think it'd make it outside of Orlando with how noisy it was, but it is a little bit quieter now. That's not necessarily a good thing. That usually means it's about to go, but at least we're close to home. Also along the way, we stopped in Nashville to fill up, and it decided to leave a puddle of coolant. It was leaking somewhere around the radiator. Like, great. 9 hours from home, pissing coolant. But the gas station had some universal antifreeze, $8.74 a gallon, so bought 2 gallons of that, filled it back up, checked at the next gas station, bone dry, wasn't leaking. So, magical Land Rover fixes itself. So we'll take that as a win. Also, I guess the only other issue was the radio decided to overheat. Didn't like being on for 20 hours straight. So that was intermittent for a little bit. That's kind of annoying. It's nice to have noise as you're driving. But other than that, we're making it. And we got our ride home in case it doesn't. Now let's see if I can get back off this thing without falling. This seemed like a better idea earlier. But hey, that's pretty neat. Roof rack, old things. All right, we're down. All right, so now that we made it back, we got this little Land Rover washed up. We'll give you a quick little peek-see at it. And you guys can determine whether or not you think this was worth us flying halfway across the country and risking a little road trip back with it. So here it is with a quick little wash job. I think it looks pretty nice. No detail yet, just spraying it off. We'll give you a little fisheye wide view. Yeah, it's got the rack. Got a little bit of an oversized tire. It is kind of just a neat looking Land Rover. It's got the ARB bumper up front. A little Harbor Freight winch action. Save our lagoon. Got to do that. But overall, very clean for something that's been modified a little bit. 141,000 miles. Shows a little wear on. That's kind of annoying. We're gonna stop that. There, that's better. Shows a little wear on that seat. Other than that, the interior is actually pretty nice. This one is not outfitted with the refrigerator. What a bummer. So once we got back here, hooked up the scan tool and dove into what was causing the transmission fault, ABS, traction lights to come on. And it was simple. Gotta love simple. Someone must have had the steering wheel or steering angle sensor or something off at some point in time, and it was 460 degrees out from where it needed to be. So we recalibrated it, and she's golden. Now I think we just need to fix that wheel bearing. Don't worry, we only drove 1,400 miles on this. Hey, we made it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you liked the video and you haven't subscribed yet, do that. Give us a thumbs up. But yeah, that's loose. We aren't worried about that. No big deal. So, yeah. Yes, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night. I guess this is kind of annoying too. We'll probably have to take care of that.